Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to create a flawless looking skin with makeup by just using things like foundation, concealer and highlighter and all kinds of things. Even if your skin is not flawless, as you can see mine is, with imperfections and blemishes, I can still show you how you can create a really nice, almost airbrushed effect. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to do this. So, to start with, I'm going to be using the Deep Sea Water Makeup Fitting Gel. And this is by Misha. And this is a Korean brand. You can buy this online, but if you want to, you can just use any other primer, or sometimes you can just use moisturizer, whichever you fancy. So, I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the skin all over. You don't need to use all that much, as it's just going to act as a base for the rest of your makeup. And when applying foundation, concealer and everything, you want it to last for the whole day and not end up smearing off and looking greasy and shiny. So by using a primer, you're going to try and help make foundation last. I'm going to use Erase Paste by Benefit. This comes in a little pot and you can get it in 3 shades, and I'm using the lightest shade, which is number 1. So I'm going to be using like my ring finger and dipping it in, and I'm going to be using not too much because you don't want to end up caking it on and then you'll just end up looking not too good, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the areas on my face where I've got darker circles around my eyes or imperfections on my skin, such as spots and blemishes. I'm going to just try and lightly pat the concealer on. You don't want to rub it in, because otherwise you end up rubbing it into the skin too much and you don't get the coverage that you really need to create the flawless, spot-free skin. Well, imitation spot-free skin. And when buying concealer, it's really important that you try and get it as close to your natural skin colour as possible, as some people buy it either too light or too dark, and by doing this it means that it's even more obvious that you've tried to conceal certain bad areas of your skin. And even though you may be putting it underneath your foundation, it can still be really obvious that you've piled lots of concealer on underneath, and it just gives you an uneven effect. So try and get it as near as possible to your skin, and I can definitely recommend Benefit's Erase Paste for doing this because it matches and blends into your skin tone perfectly. So when putting it on the eye bag area, you want to do it in kind of like a triangle shape. So you come down to here and then back up and smooth it across. By doing this, it stops the bags from looking so bulging and rounded, kind of swollen effect that you can sometimes get. And you just want to pat it just as you did on the chin or whatever area, and you just want to smooth it in around and blend it into the rest of the skin. So as you can see, it's already quite different to this kind of purpley shade here. And with the eyes, you don't want to pull or put pressure on them, as the skin around on the eyelid is very thin and delicate. So do the same again on this eye in the triangle shape and then across it on. This can be also quite good for underneath the eyes. Some people like to put it on top of the lid. So you can either use like a concealer or a primer, because some people have quite thin eyelids, which just creates a kind of discolored effect, so that when placing eyeshadow on top, you don't get the true colour. So that by using concealer and primer, you're definitely going to be getting a better colour for your overall look. So I'd say that I've almost got all the areas, just a bit here. And a lot of people find that the corner of the noses gets quite pink. That's the first stage of concealing done. So next of all, I'm going to use foundation, and I'm going to be using the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation with SPF 15, this one, and this is in Warm Sand 2.5. So to put this on, I'm just going to put one pump to start with, which is like this size, and I'm going to be using my Body Shop foundation brush. So lots of people are now using stippling brushes to create the effect of a flawless smooth skin, but I still prefer to use my traditional kind of foundation brush like this. But you can use whatever you want. You can sometimes use your fingers or a brush or a sponge, but this is what I prefer. So I'm going to firstly go ahead, I'm going to start on my cheek area, as I'd say that because I have fairly pink cheeks, I want to start on the actual cheeks with the most amount of the foundation and blend out from there to get an overall like even tone. So you want to be quite gentle with applying your foundation. So you want to go all over the face, the eyelids, under the eye, under the eyebrow. Just be careful not to get it onto your actual eyebrows, otherwise you're going to end up with funny coloured looking eyebrows, and that's not going to be too good. My jawline and onto my neck. Next stage done. So this is the foundation all on. So this is quite a matte look. I know that some people kind of like the glossy, shiny look with foundations such as Chanel Lumiere, which creates a really glossy shine across the forehead, the nose and the cheeks. But personally, I don't really like that look, as it almost makes me feel quite as if my skin's quite greasy. So I have T-zone skin in general, so I generally like to go with more of a matte finish. So this is contouring and highlighting. And for the highlighting, Rimmel London Colour Mousse, and this is in 001, and this is Snow Queen. And this is what it looks like. And I like to use this to create a kind of highlighted effect underneath the eyes, on top of the cheekbones, a bit on the forehead, and a small bit down the nose. And now a bit on the forehead. Right. So now I'm going to be using my Bobbi Brown Golden Light in number 1. I didn't use my blush brush, and this is by Guerlain, however you pronounce it. And first, and go ahead underneath where we put the highlight, more into the crease, like indentation, into this kind of area here. You want to go ahead and actually put them on your forehead, and you want to go down and around almost like a 3. This is the Sheer Loose powder in number 1, Barely There, by the collection 2000. And I just want to go, and I'm going to use almost like a kabuki brush. This is Chanel's kabuki brush. This just really mattifies the skin and keeps all the foundation, concealer and bronzer in place. Now, some people really like to put their blush underneath the powder, but I prefer to use my blush on top. And for this, I'm going to be using MAC's Lady Blush. This is the blush. So, for the overall effect, I'd say that this is the finished look of a flawless skin foundation. So, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial soon. So, stay tuned and I'll see you again soon. Bye!